Well, good morning, my dear friends. It is April 13th, and it's my last day of being 71. Tomorrow, April 14th, is my birthday, so I like to celebrate all week long and leading up to it, and Rick is very good about it. He gives me a birth week. I return the favor in December, but anyway, this is my week. It's all about me this week. And I wanted to show you the backyard. It's been a while since I've actually given you a good tour of the backyard. And I want to step back and show you that the plumeria have all leafed out. I'm not seeing any blooms yet. That'll be next month. But we've gotten, everybody's leafed out. Nobody got nipped during the frost, which was amazing. There are a lot of people in Zone 9B here in Central Florida who are saying that their plumeria got frozen in our 31 and 32 degree nights and didn't come back. So anyway, let's do the perimeter. You can see this is a mango. This is an Adolfo mango, and it's been grown from seed. I'll get up close on it. And it's less than a year old. So it made it through the freeze. I covered it with a plastic container, and I had bricks that warmed during the day, and I kept them in there underneath the plastic container to kind of keep it going. And you can see my amaryllis. This is one of the apple blossom amaryllis. All of the tea plants did take a total hit, and they froze back. So I just went along and cut everything. You can see I cut it all here at the top, and then this is all new growth. So I'm expecting that everyone is going to come back just fine. So the crepe myrtle has leafed out, and I would think in another month or so I'll have blossoms on that. Down below I planted some marigolds. These are the French marigold. It's a shorter one. And I planted the French marigolds in the front of here, and then the African marigolds in the back, which will get tall. And if you're wondering, this is a Brazilian spinach. I have it over here on this side also. It makes a great ground cover. This is the red Florida maple. And this year it seems to be actually coming out in red. When it was very young, it was coming out. We'd see a little bit of red, and then it would turn green immediately. So I'm hoping that if it matures and it stays red, it would be just beautiful. And a raspberry crepe myrtle as well is coming out. I like that. More of the apple blossom amaryllis. And you can see the caladiums. I planted those bulbs years ago, and they still keep coming back. I finally just got this all cleaned out and weeded and taken care of. So now I have to decide what I'm going to plant here. And I was out this morning. Rick and I are both working on this, and we both got some weeding and things done. This is a real success story. This is the curly kale, and I planted it last summer, and it stayed the whole time, and has just gotten, it's gotten to be a beast, hasn't it? And by the way, it's delicious. I didn't know that I would like kale, but I do. And the cordyceps, the tea plants behind, I had to do the same thing. They froze, and so I cut them back. I started another compost pile here using strictly grass clippings and shredded paper, and it seems to be doing very, very well. This poor little stick here is a moringa, and I think it might come back. It froze. This is just the bamboo stick to hold it, but I think it might make it. Uh, More caladiums of a different variety are back there. And this is a pigeon pea. Now get up close on it so you can see. Isn't that pretty? Pretty leaves, pretty flowers. And then here, this is actually starting to give us some pods. It truly is a pigeon pea. They're very good, by the by. And then I'm just going to show you real quick here. This is the Everglades tomatoes that I just so wanted to finish with, and I was going to get rid of them. I was just going to pull them out, and I think it realized I was going to get rid of it, and it just all of a sudden everything started turning. I came out here and picked the other day, and I got 8 ounces, and you can imagine probably 20 to the ounce. So I was really picking. They're the whole way down here. But I mean, I can't even back up. Can I back that up? Back up enough that you can see it goes, it's probably 6-7 feet up there. And then back here, back to the backyard, you can see more little ones. They are so good. If you can get your hands on some Everglades tomatoes, they're tiny, but they're mighty. And my backyard, oh, this was out walking, and a neighbor was just throwing it out for trash. And I thought, oh, what a great little pot. It has no bottom to it. So it makes, which was maybe why he was getting rid of it. I don't know if he knocked the bottom out or what happened to it, but I thought, what a great place for another compost heap. And so I have more grass clippings and shredded paper there. And I'm trying to get this all cleaned up and get this taken care of. And the plumeria here is also blooming well. And I guess the big story, well, if I come over to this side, let me finish and show you the hibiscus. They're coming out nice. The blossoms look clean. I've sprayed them a couple times with neem oil just to make sure that the aphids, I get hit with aphids every year. I planted 2 different varieties of onions, and you can see I've cut them back. It's kind of as I'm needing them, I'm coming out and grabbing a handful and cutting it back. And I started making a little trellis here, a little teepee trellis. I want to grow some peas up my trellis. I wanted to hang on to the branches. Those are crepe myrtle branches until I realized whether I needed them or not. Mixed lettuce in the front, and then the giant Japanese or Japanese giant green mustard. I have 2 more little tomatoes here just stuck in amongst, the water is over here, the head, and so I figured it would get sprayed. Agapanthus, another month and we'll start seeing agapanthus, the big blue Nile blooms. Another hibiscus here, have a blossom that's just about ready to start. This is marigolds, and I thought I would just put them right here in front of this fountain because the fountain spatters, and so it's just kind of watering it constantly. And isn't that pretty? This is called gold dust, and it's just a ground cover that spreads, and it likes a shadier spot, and so I had it in a couple other places, and it just is dying back. So, try, and if at first you don't succeed, try again. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still using my composter and giving it a spin every couple days, and it seems to be working much better. I'm learning how to use it the second time, so it's working much better. More of the tea plants. Some of these did freeze back, and some came out okay, but these I didn't cut back completely. I cut back some, but not completely. What do I want to say? Peace lilies, there we go. Spathiphyllum underneath, and they seem to like this spot. Another spot that I have to work on is over here. I had more of the giant Japanese greens growing there, and they've finally blossomed, and the bees ate off the blossoms for a while, and so it was great. But I wanted to show you Juicy Fruit Island and how well it's doing, and tell you kind of the whole story of it. Um, Duke Energy, which is our electric company, every once in a while they've offered a free tree or a free plant of some sort. And so a few years back they were offering crepe myrtle, and I thought I would love to have a raspberry crepe myrtle because the blooms come out and they are a beautiful raspberry color, as well as those leaves are just gorgeous. And so this year they were offering, this is a Florida Prince peach, which has a very low chill hour requirement. And since it said Florida, I said, sign me up, you know. So this came and I put it in the ground and it hasn't missed a beat. It did get one blossom and the blossom fell off, and I don't think that it's going to get any more, but that's just fine. And so I ordered from Bottom's Nursery. And they're in Georgia, and seems like a very reputable company. And I bought two 20th century Asian pear trees. And they sent this pear tree and another one that I'll show you in a minute. And my only concern was that the roots were actually circling. And to me, that's kind of like, that's a girdling the pot. But I did write to them and ask, I pulled the roots out as much as I could, but because they were like really tight in there and they didn't seem to want to come apart without, I didn't want to rip the main root off. They said, oh no, that's fine. You just plant it that way, they'll be fine. Well, this one came out, I'm looking at the sun here, this one came out on 3 different branches, and 2 of the branches have died back. And you can see I clipped it this morning to see that and I'm really not seeing much life here, but at least this one is still alive. And so I think maybe knock wood, I might be okay with this one. And you can see how I water. I've made a trench the whole way around it, and I also made a long trench for the roots that were kind of, you have tap roots that are your main roots that find a space going down, and your diffuse roots are the ones that are kind of hair-like and they want to be fanned out over something. So anyway, along here I've planted some bok choy and sweet alyssum in 2 little groupings. I have done tomato plants. This is a Principale Borghese, which is a 1 to 2 inch fruit. It's a determinant, so I'm hoping that they come up and they look marvelous. I get loads and loads of tomatoes off of it, and some I can maybe dry, and some I can, eat fresh, and some maybe we can make a sauce out of. In between, I've dotted them with marigolds in hopes of doing some companion planting. That's a moringa, and I have a few of those in the yard, and of course back and forth. And I've even started, do I see them anywhere? I put a few little basil. They were so tiny, I'm not sure they actually made it. But anyway, it came the whole way along here, and I dotted them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all along. And now here is actually this is the 3rd tree. This is the 2nd tree. The 2nd tree never leafed out. This is a grafted tree. So here we have the original rootstock is here. And here is the grafted tree that just didn't make it. And I wanted to show you, this is the root. And this root was so tight, it would not, now that it's been sitting here dry, it's probably more able to be pulled apart physically than it was back when. And So anyway, I did write to them and they were very nice about it. They did replace it. My concern with this one, although I've been watering it 4 or 5 times a day since it arrived, and it seems to be a little wilty and it may end up losing all of its leaves. I'm not really sure. But the fact that it did leaf out already is of concern, because now it's going to be experiencing more of a shock than it would have if it had been bare root and still dormant. So anyway, that said, they did their part, and I'm certainly doing my part in trying to keep it alive. And I think that's probably, I think I've shown you everything. And so I'm pleased with the way the yard looks. It's kind of coming together. Um, if you wonder what I have stacked up over here against the fence, I put down cardboard and then I put down grass clippings, and it acts as a weed deterrent. Nothing seems to stop the weeds in my yard. We've even, back in the days when we were using Roundup and, weed killer, it would, we would, do it according to the instructions, and it usually took 2 sprays to finally kill the weeds back, and then it was only good for a few weeks and you were out there doing it again. So now I try to do it organically, and I think this is a healthier way of doing it. And when we get our grass clippings, then we pack it up against the with cardboard underneath, and that seems to work certainly better than the Roundup was doing. It's obviously cheaper than the Roundup, and it's, I think, healthier than the Roundup. So and I don't mean anything against Roundup. There's other weed killers if you that's your choice and you want to use chemicals. But we're trying to be healthy and trying not to use our chemicals. And so that's it from my yard to your yard. If you wonder what that is in the back, this is our preserve. It's Queen Anne's lace, and the butterflies and bees seem to enjoy that. And it's been out with blooms on it for about a month. So luckily, we seem to always have something for our bees and for our butterflies to enjoy. And so, my friends, I will say goodbye, and until the next time. And I thank you very much for watching this. I hope you watched it all. That would be appreciated. And I hope you'll give me a thumbs up and perhaps subscribe if you haven't. And come back and see me again. And I hope you'll garden what you've got, whatever that may be. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.